Welcome to episode 13 of the Beef Bar Bruin Banter TV. It's been a really busy week in Bruinland, both on and off the ice, as I'm sure you've heard by now. So just going to give you a little bit of a rundown on what's happened since the last episode of our show. Obviously, the December 1st cut-down deadline came and went in the SJHL. That's the deadline where teams go from 45 player cards for the year down to 25 for the rest of the year. So teams usually try to cut down their roster a little bit. The Estevan Bruins mostly did that before the deadline, but they did make some moves. The big one obviously being sending Austin Yano to Kindersley for another defenseman, and that being Blatz. Yano, obviously he had a great season last year. He struggled a bit more this year and had 7 points through 23 games with the Bruins. Blatz, a 19-year-old defenseman they're getting back, 10 points in 26 games, but with him, what's more attractive about his game is his size and his grit. 6'3", 205 pounds, which definitely makes him one of the biggest players on the Bruins. So that's more so what they're hoping to see from him. And we'll talk to Brett a little bit later in the show, and he'll give us a bit of a look at the kind of game he brings. Also, the Bruins brought in Alex Cote from the Summerside Western Capitals in the Maritime Hockey League. And Cote is pretty much a replacement for Destin Jesso, who the team released. Jesso was only here 3 weeks. He had 2 assists in 6 games, and it sounds like he felt the league was a bit too physical for him, and he wanted to go back to Ontario. So they bring in Alex Cote from Summerside, and he's got 19 points in 25 games this year. So they're hoping, obviously, that he can bring some scoring as well. And so that was their movement from December 1st. In terms of on the ice, the Bruins actually had some good news on that front for the first time in a little while, beating Notre Dame 2-0 on Tuesday in Wilcox. And just a really good bounce-back game for the Bruins. A 42-save shutter for Curtis Martin, a fantastic performance by him. They got goals from Nick Weiss and Taylor Reach. And it snapped a 5-game losing streak, which included losing all 3 games on their road trip up north last weekend. So a big night for the Bruins. They also got Calder Neufeld back in that game. Neufeld only played the first 6 games of the season, and then he went down with a high ankle sprain. So they finally got him back. Stephen Glass has been backing up Martin the last few games, and he's getting closer to coming back. So for a while, the injuries were really piling up for the Bruins, and now they're almost 100% healthy, so they're really going to have to try to take advantage of that, obviously, and try to work their way back up the standings. And they've got 2 games at home this weekend, playing Humboldt on Friday. Obviously, that'll be a tough challenge. And then playing the L'Orange Ice Wolves on Saturday. And remember, that game's at 2 o'clock. It's been moved up because of the Theory of a Dead Man concert the next day here at Spectra Place, so that's what you can look forward to this weekend. Now it's time to get on to the rest of the show. Welcome to episode 13 of the Beef Bar Bruin Banter TV. We're joined by one of the newest acquisitions for the Estevan Bruins, Brett Blatz. You came in from Kindersley at the December 1st deadline there. Brett, first of all, just talk about what the trade was like for you. I'm guessing you were taken by surprise by it?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, and I'm just trying to make the best of the situation right now.
What was your time in Kindersley like? Obviously, you spent a year and a half there. Tough year last year, but it seemed like things were starting to turn around a bit this year.
Yeah, it was like a second home for me. I liked it there, and the guys were good, and we just started to pick it up, but got traded, so I got to make the best of it.
What's the transition been like for you so far? Played in 1 game. Just getting used to your new team and, your new surroundings?
It's been fairly easy. The guys are all nice here, and it's just getting ready and getting prepared for every game.
Just talk about the style of game you play as a defenseman.
I like to play all 3 zones, defense and offense, and just get... Okay.
We're being photo or interview bombed here.
Yeah, the roommate over there.
How do you feel your career's gone so far, in the SJHL? How do you feel you've developed from when you first started to now?
Last year was just getting into the league and getting used to it, and this year I've kind of picked it up and getting a few more points.
What kind of a role do you think you can play here with the Bruins? What do you think you can bring to the team?
Offensive role, getting points for the team and hitting and just physical body presence.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome back to the Beef Bar Bruin Banter TV. We're joined again by Estevan Bruin's Player of Personnel. Director of Personnel.
Director of Player Personnel.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Rick Oakes. Rick, today we are talking about Jeremy Leclerc, one of the newer additions to the Bruins organization, a 95-born defenseman who came in for Adam Olszewski earlier this season. Just tell us a bit about the potential you see him having.
Yeah, Jeremy's is a new guy to the organization. Nobody's seen him at any spring camps, any fall camps, so for fans out there, they really don't know what to expect out of Jeremy, but he's a big, solid, stay-at-home defenseman. He's got some offensive upside to him, but just a guy that knows how to take care of his own zone first and foremost. Can quarterback a power play, just a good, solid defenseman, and something we were lacking in our 95 age group, and that's why we made the deal to ship Adam Olszewski to Kinnersley to get Jeremy's rights. So we're excited to have him.
9 points in 16 games this year so far with the Saskatoon Contacts, obviously showing at the midget level that he does have some offensive ability there. Yeah,
for sure. He plays a little bit of everything for them. He kills penalties. He plays in their power play. He plays a regular shift, but they're a very deep team too. So he maybe doesn't get the power play opportunities he might get on another team, but he is wearing the C for the Contacts this year, so he's got some leadership skills there as well.
Is he a guy you see being an impact player? You know, maybe not right away in the SJHL, but obviously at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Between Jeremy and Edwin Hookinson, they're two guys we expect next season to step in and fill some big holes for us and take on some prominent roles, and maybe some roles 18-year-olds aren't traditionally expected to do, but that's what we expect out of Jeremy next year.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome.